Alright, in this video, I'm going to build a full custom home project from scratch using a stock house plan online and show you exactly how this app works. I built this because custom home documentation is usually fragmented. Selections end up scattered across emails, screenshots, spreadsheets, and PDFs, and without one clear source of truth, you get wrong product orders, missed decisions, delays, and expensive rework. This app solves that by giving you one place to capture every material and finish selection, tied to real products with manufacturer, model, and finish assigned to the exact rooms they belong to and tracked by status. It generates a clean spec book everyone can understand, and a selection schedule that shows what's still open, what's approved, and what needs attention next. Homeowners can visually confirm and sign off, and builders get clarity and accountability. So we'll pull up a stock plan, build the project structure, load a few real products, assign selections, and generate the documentation step by step. Let's jump in. I grabbed a stock plan from advancedhouseplans.com and chose one that works well for a demo. This is the Biltmore plan, a Mediterranean-style, single-story home with an open great room and kitchen, a rear-covered patio, a private primary suite, and 2 secondary bedrooms. The site gives us floor plan images, interior and exterior photos, and basic specs, which is plenty to build the project framework inside the app. I'll run split screen, website on the left, app on the right, and we'll create this from scratch. Step 1. Project Setup. First, Project Setup. I'll name it Biltmore Plan, Demo Build. For owner and builder, I'll use demo names here, same workflow as a real client project. Plan name and plan number, I'll copy directly from the plan site. And I'll paste the plan URL here so the source is always one click away inside the project. Next, start date, completion date, budget, and allowances. Even if they're rough numbers today, they drive dashboards, tracking, and reporting later. And finally, the hero image URL. I'll grab a marketing image from the plan site so the project stays visually recognizable everywhere in the app. That's step 1. Click Next. Building Basics. Here we define the overall structure. Heated square footage, garage square footage, and garage size. This plan is a 2-car garage. Stories 1. Foundation slab. Then bedrooms and baths, 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths. And I'll use generate names to pre-fill primary room labels, which saves time later when we're assigning selections and generating reports. Now let's move into rooms. Rooms. This is where we tell the app what spaces exist in the home. I'll check off the rooms that match the plan: great room, kitchen, dining, breakfast nook, laundry, mudroom, hallway, and any others shown on the layout. If a room isn't listed, like a custom entry or a primary suite label, we can add it manually. The app generates a template for each room, and we'll refine details as we go. Once that's done, next, outdoor spaces. Here we define outdoor living. This plan has a rear-covered patio and a front porch, so I'll add those. And if your project had more deck, balcony, outdoor kitchen, you'd add them right here as well. Next, dimensions and areas. Lastly, room dimensions and areas. This step is optional, but it becomes extremely useful for quantity-driven selections later: flooring, paint, trim, tile, and more. I'll plug in rough dimensions for a few key spaces using the plan. And if you don't have perfect measurements yet, no problem. You can always refine these later without breaking anything. Now I'll click Create Project. And that's the foundation, a clean, organized framework that mirrors the plan, ready for real products and selections. Overview Dashboard. Now let's look at the Overview tab, your dashboard. At the top, you'll see the project image and the key project info. Below that are your metrics and room summary cards that fill in as selections get added and approved. Now we'll go to the Rooms tab. This is the central workspace for room details and selection items, including editing rooms, adding images, and managing anything tied to specific products. The first thing I like to do here is add room images. Those visuals make dashboards clearer, reports more useful, and homeowner sign-off much easier, because you're not asking people to imagine what a space looks like. For now, we'll fill out the top of each room: name, image, tags, and notes. Then we'll move into selection items, but before we can assign real finishes, we need products in the product library. Before we do that, I want to show you where this is headed. Spec Book Preview. Go to Reports, then click Generate PDF Spec Book. This opens a formatted report broken out by room. At the top is the project summary and a clickable table of contents, so you can jump to any room instantly. Right now it's mostly structure, but as we assign products and finishes, this becomes a complete visual spec book, exact products, where they go, notes, and approval status. This is the deliverable you hand to builders and subs, so everyone is working from the same reality. Now let's go back and load some products. Product Library. Now we're in the product library. For this demo, we're starting empty, and we'll add a handful of real products across a few categories, just enough to show the workflow end-to-end. Products are organized by category and subcategory, so everything stays clean and searchable. Click Add Product, and you'll see the fields. I like to think about them in 3 buckets. Identity, product name, manufacturer, model, SKU. Organization, category, subcategory, finish, or color. Logistics, unit cost, lead time, image, docs, and notes. You can add products manually or use the scraper tool. I'll paste a product link, click Scrape from URL, and the app pulls in the key details automatically: product name, manufacturer, category, image, and specs. That saves a ton of time. From here, you typically work one of 2 ways. If you already know the selections, add products and assign them to rooms as you go. Or build your library first, so when you start selecting, you're choosing from a realistic set of options. For this demo, I'm going to add a few products quickly. I'll speed up the footage here, and we'll pick back up once we're ready to assign products to room selection items. These selection items were created automatically from the room templates, which means the structure is already in place. Now we're just assigning real products, confirming details, and locking decisions in. I'll open the selection items one by one. From the product drop-down, I can choose an item from the product library, and the app will automatically suggest the most relevant options based on the selection category at the top. That keeps the process fast and prevents mismatches. Once I select a product, I verify the basics: quantity, unit of measure, and cost. This is the part that keeps the spec book accurate, keeps budgets honest, and reduces costly mistakes later, like ordering the wrong finish or undercounting quantities. Next, I'll set the due date using the date picker. This is what powers the selection schedule and keeps the project moving, because late decisions usually turn into delayed orders and delayed timelines. And in this demo, I'm also going straight to the sign-off section. I'll enter my initials as the homeowner, then save the signature for that specific selection. That approval is stored and time-stamped, and it becomes reportable by selection item, by category, by room, or across the entire project. This is where accountability becomes real. Approvals are tied to the exact product in the exact room. Now I'm going to move room by room and assign products to each selection item. I'll speed this section up since the workflow is repetitive, and we'll pick back up once everything is filled out so you can see how the dashboards, schedules, and spec books start coming to life. Alright, we've now populated a solid portion of the selections with real-world products. Now let's take a step back and look at everything we've assembled across the tabs and modules. We'll start in the product library. In just a few minutes, I added over 40 products, and the product URL scraper is a huge part of why this goes so fast. In a moment, you'll see an added benefit of that scraper inside the PDF Spec Book because it pulls in supporting product data and documents automatically. Inside the library, we can filter by category to narrow down to a specific scope, like flooring, plumbing fixtures, lighting, and so on, which makes it easy to find and reuse products throughout the project. Next, let's go to Selection Approvals. This is where every sign-off and approval is logged and documented. You can view them at any time, filter them down to specific rooms, categories, or statuses, and run reports whenever you need them. Each signature is saved exactly as entered, time-stamped, and tied to its specific selection item. In this demo, I only signed as the homeowner, but in a real workflow, the builder also signs off right alongside it. That side-by-side approval is what eliminates miscommunication and removes ambiguity, because you can always prove what was approved, when it was approved, and what product was selected. Now, let's revisit the PDF Spec Book. You'll see that the selections are now defined in much greater detail across all rooms, with clear, organized data. You'll also notice a status section beneath each room's selection summary that reports sign-off progress, so it's immediately obvious what's approved and what still needs attention. And at the bottom of the spec book, there's a section called Appendices. This is where the app lists the actual products that make up the room selections, pulled directly from the product library. The key benefit is that it also includes links to product specification documents that were captured automatically by the web scraper. So if there's ever a question about installation requirements, technical specs, or shop drawings, it's as simple as opening the manufacturer documents, already stored and organized by product, right inside the spec book. You can see here that we've got spec PDFs tied to the products, which is a huge win for job site clarity. One other feature worth calling out is the calendar. The calendar collects and organizes every selection due date you entered using the date picker. That means you get a clear view of what's coming up, what's overdue, and what needs review, and you'll receive notifications for upcoming or late selections. And if you click any item on the calendar, it opens that selection form immediately so you can review it, and if needed, edit it without hunting through rooms or reports to find it. And that's the full workflow we set out to demonstrate. We started with a stock plan, built the project structure in minutes, loaded a real product library fast using the scraper, and assigned those products to room-by-room selections with due dates and documented sign-off. Then we generated a complete spec book with organized room data, approval status, and manufacturer spec documents, all in one place. That's the point of this app. One source of truth that reduces mistakes, keeps decisions moving, and gives every stakeholder the same clear documentation. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see a deeper dive into any module or how this works on a real build with a full selections package, let me know.